She flips around with him for a while, shooting at him. You've stolen my orb. He doesn't have any idea what the frick she's talking about. Then he figures out that it's his Dragon Ball, which his grandpa gave him. And she then realizes that it doesn't have the right amount of stars, so what the heck is going on? She only knows that this orb exists. She wants to use it to become famous and whatnot, even though she's already the daughter of a billionaire scientist and a genius in her own right, supposedly. You know, she wants to become famous. So, she shows him the detector that she made to track these balls, which is how she found them in the first place. And lo and behold, there's more than one. She's surprised by this. Even though she had the frickin' thing, and if she would have looked at it, she'd have seen more than one signal. Then, of course, they have to give it a cutesy little name, and so they name it after the movie, the DBE. Of course, they say it means something differently, but, oh, you know, it's so cute. Anyway, moving along, they finally go to the city. They meet up with this Master Roshi fella, who's a guy at least 20 years younger than his grandfather, who supposedly taught him everything he knew about martial arts, who automatically assumes they're burglars and begins attacking. And then lays out some extremely cheesy one-liners with some obscenely over-the-top acting. And, yep, there you go. There's the guy. He's a skeptic that this legend is even possible, you find out later. But the second he hears about it, he knows what's going on. Knows that Goku must be the chosen one. And so their training has to begin. Oh yes, and of course the lovely acting from Mr. Chatwin. My grandfather died. He was killed by Piccolo. I will have revenge. But first, it's like, did Christopher Walken coach you and you failed his class? But that's beside the point. You know, and of course the fact that during their fight he fired off an energy blast point blank into the stomach of a civilian with no training whatsoever. And she survived. Without so much as a scratch. Yeah. Anyway. So, again, ancient master who's somehow middle-aged agrees, okay, you know what, I'm going to train you. We have 7 days until this eclipse, which is when he will use the Dragon Balls, even though we have one of the Dragon Balls and therefore he can't possibly use it if all we do is just simply run away. So there's got to be a reason that, you know, of course the whole time they're so clearly alluding to the Uzaru. The Uzaru is made to be a bigger threat than even Piccolo himself is. I mean, really. So, anyways, they go out into the desert to train. Lo and behold, they find this, you know, little hole in the middle of the desert that they fall into. Yeah. And of course this guy, says his name's Yamcha, comes along, says, I'll pull you out for cash. Which, of course, they flat out refuse to be bribed. So, meanwhile, while little Geeko there is straining himself trying to jump out of the hole, Roshi decides, you know what, don't waste your energy, it's time for a little powwow, builds a campfire, tells them the story where the pictures are showing up in the flames of the Dragon Balls, how they were made, how the mystics made them in order to help combat Piccolo, even though they apparently never used them because they used a technique which actually killed them all. Yet somehow the Dragon Balls are there. They know, everyone knows exactly what they are and how to use them, even though the people who made them died shortly after making them, apparently. You know, whatever. And of course they have to collect these before the eclipse, because then Piccolo will use them to become all-powerful, yada yada, he'll be unstoppable. We're wasting time, kicks out the fire, jumps right out of the frigging hole without effort, and asks the douchebag who's been keeping them prisoner, will you help us or not? Because, of course, he's clearly such a useful asset. And so, of course, after seeing that, he says, fine, yeah, sure, whatever. So, yeah, he happens to whip out this giant drill he just so happened to have, tunneling into the cave, because they got a reading from underground, where they find the giant volcano. He burns his balls, which is where the 5-year-olds are supposed to laugh. Piccolo knows that they're there and knows who Goku is, decides that it's time that he introduced them to his warriors, takes his blood out, and, like something right out of the Power Rangers movie, out come minions. Seriously, you can't make this stuff up. You can't make it up. And anyways, so the Power Rangers minions show up. It's like this really bizarre, stupid, confusing battle because they're not even lingering on the fight. They keep flashing to each person. It lasts all in like 15 seconds. So one of them gets like cut in half or has its arm cut off or something and it regenerates. They keep fighting until somehow, lo and behold, the one thing that they're actually weak to, and yet it won't destroy them, is lava. So Goku just somehow magically then overpowers all of them, flings them into the lava, uses them as stepping stones to get over to the Dragonball that was in there, then takes a punch from Stealthy Bondage Chick, grins at the fact that she can't hurt him, and in a fit of misogynistic pride, slams her in the chest, sends her flying into a rock wall, smacks her head off it, she collapses in a heap, and they leave her there to die. Meanwhile, they get out, and lo and behold, they bump into Pretty Girl again. You know, Shallow McWhore. Anyways, who is apparently a martial artist herself, but doesn't want people to know. And it happens to be an area near the temple where Roshi's master trained. Sifu Norris, they call him. Wow. Anyways. Anyway, who, calls him his favorite skeptic, said that he had never really believed that this legend was even true. Yes, Roshi, who knew that the legend wasn't even true, just somehow automatically then knew who the chosen one was and what to do about it. But of course, then you find out that, I'm a skeptic, so I have to show it. So he doesn't fully believe that Goku's up to the responsibility of this, and he wants a jar to perform the Mafuba. Yes, Roshi is going to use the technique that it took 7 men to do last time to try to seal Piccolo again, so he can be released again. But, not the point. The point is, this is something that took 7 men to do, and of course he's just going to do it. And of course the master gives it, but says that you're going to have to stay the night here. So they go to stay the night there. Meanwhile, Chi-Chi, who's off fighting in her tournament, gets in a fight with Bondage Chick, who somehow got out of the volcano after being knocked out cold and left for dead. Cuts her for an unknown reason and gathers her blood. Then leaves. But afterwards, she finds little Mr. Goku again, training for the Kamehameha. Yes, the Kamehameha, the ultimate airbending technique as it's been described in this film. Which is somehow lighting candles. Yes, air lighting candles. Awesome. Lighting these lanterns. And he's supposed to do it, to prove that he's mastered it. When he can light them all, fire one thing that somehow spreads out and hits multiple targets, then he's proven that he's mastered it. And of course he can't do it. He's trying, and he can't do it. So of course he runs over to try to light it by himself and cheat when Miss Chi-Chi walks in. Now, here's another funny thing. His training consists of having to master this. There's really not too much beyond it. It's key to him being able to face Piccolo. And yet he runs over to try to light it. Now, what's that going to serve? All that's going to be is, okay, fine, you passed the test, you're ready to face Piccolo. When you're not ready to face Piccolo, he'd kill himself. But again, whatever. But, the whore walks in, and yes, I am calling her that because she's acting like one throughout the whole film, and basically says to him, maybe you just need motivation. For everyone that you light, you can take a step closer. For everyone that you mess up, you have to take a step back. So he fires, lights one, gets to take a step closer. Fires again, misses, screws up, he has to take a step back. So then he just summons up all of his energy and boom, lights them all up. Yes, both times now, every time he's needed to master energy, he's suddenly done so because he sees this girl and, well, I hereby dub that this Kamehameha be renamed the Boner Beam. I'm sorry, that's basically what it is here. It's become a phallic symbol. And of course he lights it up so he gets to run all the way toward her. They start making out, and in a not so subtle allusion to the fact that you know what they're going to do, he then uses his magic wind powers to blow out all the candles and lanterns. And it goes dark. Meanwhile, you got Bulma and Yamcha hanging out, flirting, coming back, and Chi-Chi's coming out of his room. And they're surprised to see her there, but she's like, okay, I better be going, bye, haha. Nervous laughter, and of course, common in every kid's movie, the two then joke about the possibility that Goku and Chi-Chi just had sex. And then they see the two of them walk in after defiling a sacred temple area. And they're like, didn't you just come out of there? She's like, no. And they're like, okay, what the heck just happened? And they run out. And the Chi-Chi runs out, and there's another Chi-Chi there. And of course, they get into the stereotypical mirror fight. Clearly, James Wong just couldn't let go of The One as one of his best films, one of the only decent films he's ever made, and thought that maybe throwing this in there was going to salvage this turd. But no. And of course they get into the mirror fight, and Goku sees them fighting, does the completely unnecessary roll through fire to get there. Doesn't know which one to hit, and of course, predictably, like in a cartoon or in a TV show or in any other film that you've ever seen a million times over, decks the wrong one. She goes down hard, he sees the scratch, which he knew that she had gotten. He looks over, he almost cusses. Yes, we almost have an S-bomb again in a kid's movie. He gets shot in the face by a laser gun. Yeah. So, he's dying, basically. Close to death. He's in the plane between this world and the next. He sees his grandpa there who tells him it's not his time. Meanwhile, Master Roshi and Bulma and Yamcha come running. Roshi's still carrying that jar with him for whatever reason. I don't know why he thought he'd need it there. They come running, and they see Bondage Chick emerge from Chi-Chi's face. Yes, somehow she has the ability to shapeshift, apparently using someone's blood, but it's not even explained. You have to assume, or guess, as to how that works, especially since she's human. Is it technology on Piccolo's ship? Is it a unique ability that she has? Don't know. Is she an alien? Don't know. But she's got it, apparently. And of course she takes off running while Bulma's emptying clip after clip into an empty brick wall. And of course Roshi's over there saying we gotta save him, and so he powers up a Kamehameha. Yes, folks, for the injured, dying boy, he decides the best way to save him is with a blast of air so powerful it can light things on fricking fire. Yes. Apparently lighting him on fire will bring him back to life or something. I don't know. But anyways, fires it, and considering the fact that the Kamehameha is a phallic symbol, did we just witness gay sex? I don't know. Not the point, though. Anyways, brings him to life magically. And of course, now they lost their Dragon Ball. They had all the Dragon Balls now. So Piccolo, of course, is going to the temple, where apparently you have to align them all in this little slot. The temple then rises up from the ground, and you summon the dragon from there. But their summoning gets interrupted when everyone else shows up. They go to fight. Piccolo blows them out of the sky. Roshi's firing blocks, trying to firing blast, trying to block his, and one of them gets through, hits their flying jeep. They go crashing to the ground. And of course, Giko's been taking the time to get changed in the back of the flying vehicle. Steps out in his full lame wrestling outfit. Looks like a cross between pajamas, bell-bottom jeans, and a WWE title belt.